That was an idea we've been talking about for a little bit. Again, I love Japanese wrestling, and I wanted to do something that was either based on age limits, kind of like they do in Japan with like the Young Lion stuff, or something that just you know, totally defied conventions on like lightweight wrestling. You know, obviously I'm not a lightweight per se, but you'd see me competing up there, and it was the kind of wrestling that we were all watching at the time. You know, we were watching stuff from Jersey, and there were these bigger guys doing these littler guy things, and so we decided, what if there was a competitive branch where, you know, even these bigger guys can go out and kind of do it, kind of like the X Division, you know?
It's like, I guess, was a hybrid. It was a influx of different styles of wrestling that a lot of people try to ignore. The older school guys like to kayfabe these things, but to me it was more the idea of, I didn't want it to have gimmicks. I didn't want people to come and say, like, oh, you know, did you see whenever this so-and-so backstabbed this guy that won the hybrid title? We wanted really clean-cut matches. We wanted matches that fans who enjoyed the Japanese style, the ROH style, the Mexican style, and these different styles to be able to come in and watch these, you know, a hybrid of styles mixed together. And that's kind of the concept behind that title was to have a cruiserweight-ish title that was based on wrestling skill alone.
Yeah, it was Florida's true X Division title at the time. It was just, guys, go out there, do your spots, land on your head, and have fun with it.
I love the concept of the hybrid title, and some of the matches that came out of it were, the fans loved them. I wasn't a big fan of some of it because I think the work looked too anticipated.
It gave too much. You know, every week there's a scramble match. You know, it took away from it. You know, you want to save those type of stuff for, like, you know, like special occasions. But like the athletes are great. But like, I don't know, like I said, like I'm more the storytelling type. I like how a match progresses instead of the bang 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 bang. But I'm not trying to downgrade anybody. They're great athletes. I just wasn't a huge fan of the hybrid.
And that's what everyone did. Martin and Lewis came to me and said, we want you to be the first champ because you're considered a legitimate cruiserweight here in the state of Florida, and we don't want to just put it on someone and people are like, well, who's that? And that helped really put me over and get me in better graces. The first match that they had for the hybrid title was me, Luis Matos, Corvus Sphere from Jersey All-Pro, and a buddy of his who came down from Jersey. And I went over. The funniest part is I don't remember the match because I did a suicide dive and Lewis missed me and I went headfirst into a ladder. Supposedly I popped up, match went completely smooth, I get in the back and I'm like, okay, so I don't know what happened. But from there on, me, Lewis, Kennedy, Jason Sane, Josh, Jude McKenzie, all these guys came up and stepped up to show their hybrid. Even Bobby Fonta, Nui Lee, Jarrell Clark, Gus Money, all these guys came out just to show that they could do different types of matches. Bobby got thrown in a four-way with me, Nui, and Jarrell, and he's like, ugh. It was like deer in the headlights because it's a different match for him, but he held his own, went out there and had fun. Nui Lee was starting to come out regularly, who's probably the best cruiserweight in the state of Florida. And I'll touch on the hybrid scramble match that people jerk off to. It was a spot fest. It was bing bang boom. It was a car crash in a ring. Everyone went out there and had a blast. And when putting the match together, I was like, no, screw that, guys. We're the main event. We're gonna have a lot of time to do stuff. We've all wrestled each other, so why don't we just go out there and wrestle? And then when we need to have our stuff put together, that's where we'll put it together. So like the dive sequence where Josh like jumps off of two people's backs, and the end sequence where everyone's hitting crazy finishes, that's pretty much the only part of the match that we went through in the back. The rest of the match, though, was us wrestling. And that's something a lot of people don't realize, because I thought at that point that it would make the match look better. Because then you don't have people being like, oh, well, that whole match looked choreographed. No, there's points in that match where there's just solid wrestling and then people doing their spots and stuff like that. But it wasn't one of those matches that people were like, oh, that's just a train wreck.